I had promised my son that I was going to take him to a game this year. We didn't get to go to any in Autzen this year, so I'm just keeping my promise to him and I'm taking him.
Up next on KGW News at noon, Oregon fans are counting down the hours to the Big Ten championship game. Plus, a massive earthquake off the Northern California coast prompted tsunami warnings in both Oregon and California. But first, the St. Helens School District is stressing transparency in the wake of an investigation into several sexual misconduct allegations. Thank you for joining us here for the news at noon. I'm Ashley Grams. Our top story: officials with the St. Helens School District gave an update on the ongoing investigation into sexual misconduct. 2 teachers at the high school are accused of sexual abuse, and the principal is charged with failing to protect the students. All 3 pleaded not guilty in court. Today, the district took questions on several topics, including who is leading the internal investigation and the decision to appoint Dr. Steve Webb as acting superintendent of the district. They also addressed the impact the investigation has on student attendance.
Now, keep in mind that once this sort of settles down, they will still need to get back into school because they're coming up on midterms and the rest of that. But we don't have any actual numbers. We can get back to you with that, with just a report out on what the attendance has been day to day, just to check those patterns.
They promised a commitment to transparency as the investigation unfolds. Another briefing is scheduled for next Friday. And we'll keep you updated as this story continues to develop. You can get the latest updates both on our website and on our streaming app, KGW+. Just hours ago, the U.S. Department of Agriculture announced a new federal order aimed at curbing the spread of bird flu in cows. This is in addition to a similar order issued back in April. The new order requires samples of raw milk to be sent to the USDA for testing, and cow owners who test positive to provide information that could be used to trace the infection. Unlike the order in April, though, veterinary clinics and laboratories must now report positive results from raw milk samples sent in to the USDA. And we're just over 24 hours away from the Big Ten championship between Oregon and Penn State. Many Duck fans flying to Indianapolis today to watch the game. Devin Haskins joins us live from PDX after catching up with a few of them. Devin?
Hey, Ashley. Yeah, we spent the morning trying to hunt for Duck fans here at PDX. And those we talked to were pretty excited about the game, and they were pretty easy to find amongst the hundreds of travelers here at PDX wearing that green and gold and finding those colors with the Oregon logo. Plenty of them here walking around the airport. This, of course, is the first season for the Ducks in the Big Ten, to cap it off playing in their new league's championship game. We caught up with a dad who promised to take his son to a game, and that game just happens to be the championship game for the Big Ten. We also found a Duck fan who said his friend had an extra ticket and asked if he wanted to come. Everyone said they had a special feeling about this game.
It feels bigger just because of, I think, how the year has played out and just because they're new to the conference. So it's exciting.
It's year one, but Dan Lanning has been here for a few years. He's a great recruiter, great coach. I mean, the team is clicking on all cylinders. They're healthy. This is the team.
That last guy said his friend gave him a phone call saying he had the extra ticket and said, "You got 30 minutes to respond." He said, "Let me see what I can do," but didn't hesitate to say yes. The next flight here, that's a direct flight out to Indy, leaves in about 30 minutes. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Devin. Well, tomorrow night, our Orlando Sanchez will be live on KGW News at 5. Just before that game kicks off, you can catch the Big Ten Championship tomorrow night at 5 o'clock. And what's football without a little trash talk? All in good fun, of course. We reached out to our station in Scranton to place a little wager on the game. This is what they had to say.
Hello to all of our friends in Oregon. I'm Mindy Ramsey. This is John Meyer, and we have a little message for you.
We want to say we are Penn State. So this is Penn State country here, and Oregon comes into the Big Ten this year.
Right.
For the first time, and thinks with their flashy uniforms and all that.
Yeah, they're wearing all black for this
They go undefeated and can just roll into the Big Ten championship game. Well, we were a little surprised that Penn State's playing in the game, but Penn State's going to win.
That's what we say. We think Penn State's going to win, but if by chance
we don't,
we might be up for sending you some Penn State or some Pennsylvania treats.
Yeah, so maybe a little wager, tasty cakes, some of our Middlesworth potato chips. If we can send Pennsylvania pierogies, we'd figure out a way. That's if Penn State loses. That's not going to happen.
Nope.
It's going to be a Penn State win with our plain blue uniforms, plain white uniforms. Forget about the flashy ducks. We're going for the Lions. See you later, everyone. Go Penn State.
We are.
They even got the roar in there.
I love that. That was
Apparently,
kinda cool.
if we lose, which we won't, then we have to send them Oregon wine and cheese.
I mean, they're getting the better end of the deal.
You think so?
Yeah. We got them.
Chris, thanks so much.
Full disclosure from a proud Penn State Nittany Lion, by the way. I think if they play that game 10 times, Oregon probably comes out on top 7 out of the 10, right? But we'll play the game. We'll see what happens. It's probably going to be a good one. 3.5-point spread. Yeah, we'll be watching late into the fourth quarter, I'm sure. All right, 46 over downtown Portland right now. The sky clearing there. It's clear at the beach as well. It's been beautiful all week long at the coast. 54 right now in Lincoln City, even the state capital, which there have been days this week where we've been socked in fog. Not the case in Salem in central Marion County. It's 42 degrees with light wind. But as you go farther south, Corvallis and Eugene still socked in with fog at this hour. 42 Beaverton, 46 at PDX, and the big perspective across the state this afternoon, still 30 with fog and areas of freezing fog across the Columbia Basin out in the Pendleton area. It's 48 right now in Bend. All right, the plan for the rest of the day, mostly clear or mostly to partly sunny. We'll see an increase in the high thin clouds late this afternoon. Of course, the sun sets it before 4:30 now, so we are getting into the shortest days of the year, right? But the clouds will be creeping in, and that is a precursor of tomorrow's rain. Actually, we've got a most of the day rain in the forecast for Saturday and some Cascade snow. We'll walk you through that coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you so much, Chris. Well, a man accused of 2 violent attacks last month made his first court appearance yesterday, and Gresham detectives believe there may be more potential victims. I want to warn you, some of the details in this story are graphic and upsetting. 20-year-old Habib Habibi is accused of several violent crimes, including rape, sodomy, and strangulation, among others. He was arrested earlier this week, a couple weeks after he attacked 2 spa employees working at 2 different businesses. Court documents say police were able to track him down using surveillance cameras and a backpack he had left behind.
It's shocking to begin with. A lot of times we don't necessarily see or hear these things because, to be honest, massage parlors quite often don't report crimes that we're aware of.
Now, according to court records in Oregon, he doesn't have any prior criminal charges and is expected in court next week. And as for yesterday, a 7.0 earthquake hit off the California coast, causing a tsunami warning for much of the West Coast. You could see in that video some of the damage in Northern California, things knocked off shelves, smashing onto the floor, some doors even off their hinges. The earthquake hit west of Humboldt County with a tsunami warning stretching from the Bay Area up to Florence, Oregon. Thankfully, there was no tsunami and the warning was lifted. But minutes after it was issued, boaters could be seen heading out to sea from Brookings Harbor in southern Oregon to prevent potential damage at port. We headed to Reedsport in Douglas County, where officials evacuated waterfront areas and activated levees to stop the waves. The city manager says this was great practice and that they'll review what they learned to make sure they're well prepared for next time.
It's really been on our mind, and in the morning we'll be doing a recap with the Douglas County and the emergency management to identify deficiencies and, work on a better solutions. But we talked and we really felt like it went well.
Schools in Reedsport also went through emergency procedures, and while the buildings are outside the tsunami zone, buses were ready to take students further away if necessary.